better known as B.B. King, has risen from his beginnings on a plantation in the Mississippi Delta to being known worldwide as an ambassador for blues. In addition to 7 Grammys, he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, an honorary doctorate from Yale University, and countless other awards. Blues All Around Me, the autobiography of B.B. King, is the story of his life, and I'm pleased to have him on this broadcast. Mr. B.B. King, welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Charlie. How are you?
Great to have you. Well, we used to do this a lot in Washington.
Yes.
Right. Because I was on in the middle of the night, and there was probably your primetime television by the time you got home.
Right.
The 2 things ought to be said about you in the beginning. Number 1 is that at 70 what? Where are you?
I'm now 71.
It's better than ever.
Yes.
You're more popular than ever.
Yes. And I'm more happier than I've been musically in my life.
Why is that?
Well, things are kind of coming my way now. My manager have been making 5-year plans, he and I, for the last 30-some years, and now the 5-year plans is really starting to pay off in a way that our music is being heard around the world. We have a youthful audience that are really into what we're doing. So I'm happy.
There's also an appreciation, I think, among young people today of the connection between blues and what came after, whether it's rock or what it is.
Or hip-hop or so on.
Right, and they all look back now to the roots and they find the blues.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah. What made you decide to put all this down? Because I've been listening to Imus in the morning, and he's been talking about this book for weeks. And he talked about your conquest musically and everywhere else.
He's a good guy. Well, for one thing, we was approached some years ago, and we didn't think that it was a time then to do a book because there's so much more I thought we could do. So this time...
So much more life to live?
Yeah. So this
more
time...
mountains to climb.
Yes. Getting an offer this time from Avon Books to do this, and the manager thought that it would be a good thing to do, and I agree.
Yeah. How easy or how difficult was it for you?
It was somewhat difficult because a lot of things are told in this book that I've never told. Or
it's all out there now.
Never been asked, yes. So I tried to be as open and honest as I could. One of the things I am hoping, I should say, that a lot of the young people that started out as I did, or starting out as I did, or just out there, can find that even though mom and dad may not be together, you could still, do something other than get in trouble. Yeah. So I was letting them, hopefully what I did do, my mistakes I made, and the things that I didn't do that was pretty good, would give them something to think about.
Guitar was your way out.
That was my way out, yes.
Yeah. How tough was it? Take me back to the beginning and how music came into your life and a time in which they, and especially the church, did not approve.
No, they're not too cool on that today. Well, for one thing, my mother was very religious, and she used to take me to church quite often with her, and I sang in choir and quartets. But I had an aunt, my mother's aunt, that was she was young like my mom, but it was my mother's aunt, which my great aunt, and usually when I was a good boy, she would let me play a phonograph. She had one of these Victrolas, you wind it up, and she bought records then like teenagers generally do. And some of her favorites was Blind Lemon, Lonnie Johnson, Reverend Gates, and so on. Yeah. And so when I would hear her play it, and was a good boy, and she let me play it, I kind of fell in love with Lonnie Johnson and Blind Lemon Jefferson, my cousin Booker White. So it was quite a few there that I like, and that's what made me start to hear the blues music. But the preacher in church, in the Sanctified Church, played guitar. And to me, he was the nearest thing to God on earth.
Because he could make that guitar play.
Oh, I loved him. Reverend Archie Fair. I was crazy about him. Yeah. And it used to be that my uncle, my mother's brother, was married to his sister. So on Sunday afternoon, he would visit my uncle's home for dinner. And usually would always lay his guitar on the bed. And when he did, I would get up on the bed and play it. Or play with it, I should say. They didn't catch me till, you know, maybe quite a long time I'd been doing it. Finally, they finished dinner one day and caught me. So I was sure they would get me, but he showed me 3 chords, 1, 4, and 5 that you would use, and told him not to bother me, and I still use those 1, 4, and 5 today.
Yeah, but the church thought that blues were God's music. I mean, the devil's music.
Devil's music. Oh, yeah, man. The blues was devil's music as far as the church was concerned, and don't play them. And my mother had a hook that was worth, left hook that was worth than Mike Tyson told me. You don't play that in here.
Your mother had a left hook?
Yes.
Up against the head?
Oh, yeah. Anywhere if she caught you doing something you shouldn't. Yeah. So I didn't play it around the house. But my dad, he was a little different. My dad, he would encourage me not to play it around my mom, but go out there and play it, you know.
She died when you were, what, about 10?
Yeah, I was almost 10. Almost 10. I was quite a jolt for me.
And you remember still?
Yes, I do. I remember. She was very, very kind person. I was crazy about her. And it was only me one, you know. Yeah. My mother didn't have any more. My dad had gotten married again, had 4 other kids, but it took me quite a while to kind of get used to having 3 sisters and a brother.
Having been one.
Yes, after having been one. And I didn't get a chance to see them until I was a big boy. You know, about 13 years old when I first saw that I had sisters and a brother.
How did Memphis become the sort of city of the blues?
Because mostly everybody that was the known blues singers migrated from Mississippi, Memphis, and then to the various places.
Yeah. So they came from the Delta and through Memphis was
the first stop-off, if you will. Yeah. Memphis was sort of like New York in a way of speaking. People coming from Europe here.
Right.
You know,
leaving to go wherever they might go.
Right.
But it's a first stopping point.
That was the first stopping point.
Cosmopolitan. It's a port of entry almost.
Yes, you got it.
Where is the capital of the blues today?
Chicago.
It is Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Chicago, but we're trying hard to get it back to Memphis because I think Memphis is the place for me because Beale Street was like a city within itself. Beale Street, that one little street, which is no more than 6 blocks, I guess, long, and all of the blues music, the jazz people, and everybody would meet up in the park there. They got a park. They finally named it Handers Park. It used to be called Beale Street Park. Everybody would meet up there. And there was a theater called the Palace Theater, and they used to have amateur night there every Wednesday night. And my good friend Rufus Thomas was the MC for it. And usually if you get on tonight, this Wednesday, and if you win, you get a chance to come back next week. But if you don't win, you still get $1. Yeah. I never did win, but I must have went on. I must have went on the show more than anybody else because I'd look pitiful at Rufus. I had to walk about 3 or 4 miles to my job, and if I got on the show, get that $1, I could ride to work and walk home in the evenings.
When did you meet Sonny Boy Williamson?
I met Sonny Boy, I guess, about 47.
Yeah, big impact.
Big impact, because before I left Mississippi, we used to hear him, just like your show is, you know, all over. His, you could hear it from Helena, Arkansas. We used to hear it at noon each day, 12:15 rather, and we would be on a break from the fields we called it dinner. We call lunch. Today we call it lunch. There at home we call it dinner, and suppers in the evening.
That's what we call it too, growing up in North Carolina.
Right. So we would hear him, and I felt like I knew him because I've heard him so much on the air. And when I went to Memphis, went over to West Memphis, I had a chance to meet him. He was there on the radio then.
Yeah. This is you live at Bourbon Street. This quality's a little poor because this is a home video, so you'll understand it, but you'll get a taste of what B.B. King does so well live. And in fact, this is a B.B. King album. How blue can you get? Classic live performances from 1964 to 1994. This clip, video clip from Bourbon Street. Here it is. There it is. A couple of things quick. This is Lucille number 17?
17, yes.
Just got it for your 70th?
70th birthday, it was given to me by the Gibson Guitar Company.
Now, are you playing this one, or are you playing...
No. She hadn't learned yet. I just sat down.
No, I know you think I'm trying to lead you into playing. I'm not. But do you actually play it or not?
Yeah, I haven't played it on stage but once, but usually I practice with it.
This is the one. This is exactly like the one you play on stage, though. Same thing.
Yes, that's the. Well, this is they specially made it for me.
Yeah.
They made this without my knowledge. They just brought it and presented it to me one night with my picture on it and.
You've done a lot
several
for Gibson.
logos.
They should do this.
They've done a lot for me too, I think.
Yeah. You were once a disc jockey.
Well, I sit behind microphone. Compared to the guys today, I spin records.
I want to talk a little bit about the people you've known. You knew Elvis before he was big.
Yes.
And you knew him after he was big.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Elvis was very shy when I first met him. When I first met him,
was it Sun Studio? Where was it?
Sun Studio in Memphis there. Dewey Phillips was a disc jockey, and his brother Sam Phillips owned the station. So I used to go out to the studio, and my company that I worked for at the time would always contract Mr. Phillips to let us in any time that we had something to record. And usually Elvis would be there practicing a lot of times. He had several people, but at that time, he was a handsome guy, good looking. I didn't think too much about his playing or singing. I mean, he was okay, but I didn't see at that time what I saw later on. But he would talk, and it was, you know.
Interested in your music?
He would watch. He didn't ask questions a lot, but he would watch.
Because
sometimes.
a lot of people, when they heard Elvis, thought he was black, didn't they?
At first, yes.
Yeah, they said he's playing black music. He's a white guy.
Yeah, but see, at first he was playing more like rockabilly. He wasn't really getting into the things that he started to do later. But when he started to do that, then he started to turn heads, including mine.
Yeah, it did? So
yes.
What did you see then?
I saw that he had everything. The looks, he had the talent.
He had the rhythm, the soul.
He had everything. To me, he had everything. You know, you started looking at the guys, God almighty, he's handsome, he's tall, he looks good, he can sing, he can play.
Got a lot of women.
Well, I didn't see, you know, I didn't see women disliking him, but he was just, I didn't see him after them either. But I guess had I been handsome like that, I probably would have.
Ike Turner.
Yes, another friend.
Ike and Tina.
Yes. I knew Tina, but I didn't know as well as I know Ike. I did some work with Ike. Ike, I think they kind of gave him a rough deal.
I want to ask you about that because there's a movie made with Larry Fishburne played Ike.
He really played it up, but I didn't know that side of Ike. I did not know that side of Ike.
Controlling, driven,
well, I know
tough.
Well, I know putting a band together. He's one of the best I ever saw. He could put a band together. When I say put a band together, I mean you get guys that are not very good musicians or not caring, but when Ike got through them, they was caring, had that energy. He was just the best at it. I've only seen 2 or 3 other people that was able to do that, and Ike was
a good musician himself?
Yes, and a great dancer. I didn't care too much about his guitar playing. I thought he was all right.
But I thought your standards are pretty high there, bro.
Well, yeah, but his keyboard, that's what I loved him for, his keyboard. Oh, man, he was Abbott Hammond.
Tina was there then, wasn't she?
Not when I first met him, no.
No, she wasn't there. She came later?
Later, yeah. I met her much later. But Ike then. When I first met him, I first met him at Clarksdale at a little theater. I remember coming up, I had 3 or 4 people with me, and he looked at me and said, B, where's the band? I said, this is it. He said, man, you in trouble. So he sat in with us.
You need some help.
Yeah, he sat in with us and played. And next time I saw him, he was doing producing with the Harry Brothers, which was a company that I finally signed with. And in other words, he turned me on to them. What's
amazing about you is that, and I've known you for a while, you do 330 thereabout shows a year.
Well,
you still
I did.
Keep that pace?
No, not now. I've cut down quite a bit.
I mean, half of that?
Maybe a little over half. Last year, I
about
think I
100.
did about 250 concerts.
Of 360 days.
Yeah.
Driving around in a bus?
Yeah, in the
city
bus.
to
And we
city to
fly,
city?
yeah, we
Yeah.
fly some, but you know, we've played, I think, about 70 different countries around the world, something like that. And so we get around. And
Is blues popular around the world?
today it is. Today it's very popular. We've got a lot of young people today that are really getting into the blues. They have blues societies. They have blues clubs. They playing blues and supporting them. So we find this around the world now. My audience is generally, I would say, from 18 to 45.
18 to 45. Mm-hmm. And you're 71.
71.
Yeah.
Now there's, you know, sometimes some are younger where the places that they can come, like festivals and stuff.
What do you think it is?
I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of the young people playing the blues today. We've always got support from a lot of the superstars that did play blues at one time, rock stars. They would mention, oh, well, I heard, well, the Rolling Stones, for example.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are named.
Keith Richards.
Yeah, they are named after one of Muddy Waters' tunes called I'm a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
And that's how they named themselves, I was told. Then there are others that have mentioned, well, okay, let me see, I believe it was the Beatles or one of them had Howlin' Wolf on the show with them when they did a Dick Clark show. Yeah. So being mentioned like that, a lot of the young people start to know about us. And when they got a chance to hear us, some of them wasn't disappointed.
When you look at all the stuff you have done, all the appearances and the albums you've recorded, and the contacts you've made and the friends you have in the business, who's in your own Hall of Fame in terms of the great blues people? Give me 4 or 5.
Okay.
That you want to put at the top.
Lonnie Johnson, Blind Lemon Jefferson,
Yeah.
T-Bone Walker, my cousin Booker White. There are many others that you probably never heard of. Walter Davis.
Yeah. And when they play the last song for B.B. as he's going to meet his maker, what do you want to hear?
Peace in the World.
Peace in the world.
Mm-hmm. It's a song we do now called Peace to the World, rather. Peace to the World. And I'm hoping that when they do play that last song for me, there will be peace in the world. I doubt it, but maybe it can be more peaceful.
This album, Moving On, Back in L.A., The Blues Come Over Me, Fool Me Once, A Low Down, Mean and Evil, Something Up My Sleeve, Roll, 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 There's Always One More Time. Blues All Around Me, the autobiography of B.B. King. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
The book again, Blues All Around Me, the autobiography of B.B. King. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.